It is my privilege to accept your presidency. I shall not detain you long. At my age, my principal role is to find my successor. If not before we've won the immediate campaign. Throughout history, nationalism and racism have been used to whip up people's passions to emotional boiling point. Too easily, they tip the balance from argument to bloodshed. Who today can name England's 7 kingdoms? Who can remember that they were ultimately united at the edge of the sword by Heseltine 1,000 years ago? Wales was to follow Scotland and Ireland to form the United Kingdom. At every twist and turn, many fought and died. Yorkshiremen and Lancastrians fought the Wars of the Roses hundreds of years later. If we weren't fighting each other, well, there were plenty of foreigners to fight. The Italians, of course they were called Romans then, but the Italians, the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, and then most recently, the Germans. Across Europe, the horror of repeated slaughter unleashed a demand that it must never happen again. The European movement was born in Churchill's phrase, jaw, jaw, rather than war, war. As a teenager, I listened to the chorus. As an undergraduate, I joined my party to support it. As a parliamentary candidate, I argued for it. And we have enjoyed an unprecedented period of peace in Europe. We have created a Europe of parliamentary democracies. We have shared sovereignty because it is in our individual national interest so to do. We have enjoyed living standards historically unprecedented. The Brexit case, it is a slickly packaged manifesto targeted at those most dangerous of human emotions, nationalism and racism. It is articulated with skillfully woven images of foreigners, immigrants, bureaucrats. Its critics dismissed contemptuously. We need them. Our public services depend on immigrants. Visit any doctor's surgery, a hospital, a university, an old people's home, our wealth-making companies, and start counting. Today, most immigrants come from outside the European Union. We are grateful for the immense contribution they make to our country. We're told of a new world for our great enterprise countries. My adult life has been sustained not only by the high-octane excitement of public life, but also by the stimulus of the private enterprise world. I know something of its thrills and spills. You win some, you lose some. Hopefully the balance is on the right side. What turns investors into gamblers is uncertainty. Brexit has overshadowed the workplaces of our country with impenetrable clouds. What serious decision can men and women rationally take when faced now with a political crisis to which there is no end in sight? For the small business people and the self-employed, it is their savings, their livelihood that is at stake. For managers and directors, they are the trustees of their company's fortunes, in which are invested the nation's savings. They want and they are entitled to answers that sweep away those clouds. And until they get them, they will sit on their hands, delay decisions, adopt survival strategies. The enterprise culture of our country has Brexit round its throat. That is what Mr. Farage has achieved. Now, I admire the men and women charged with great commercial and industrial responsibilities whose warnings increasingly are carried in foreboding headlines. Plants closed, investment cancelled or delayed, jobs lost, and offices moved to the continent. All of these things just point in one direction. And then they talk of deregulation, freeing of the Brussels bureaucracy. Well, we face a future of unprecedented potential. Change is happening in a way that my generation, and indeed others a great deal younger, hardly appreciate. Brexit supporters argue for a wave of deregulation. Well, I've spent my life fighting to create a climate of opportunity for the private sector. I think I've actually privatized more individual items than any other single minister. As a businessman, I know something of the irritation of regulatory obfuscation. But I also know something else about how the world actually works. I know that the battle for world technological supremacy is driven by the massive defense, space, and academic research programs of the United States, China, and a range of increasingly rich nations. Europe together, in partnership, can compete in this league in a way that no nation of our size can. Of course, private enterprise plays a critical role in exploiting and spreading the benefits into every aspect of our life. But the lifeblood fueling competition are the resources and purpose of states. I also know that regulations are the building blocks of civilization, and they protect all of us from that tiny number of our fellow citizens who will do anything to make a quick buck. Regulations set standards that guarantee our safety, our health, protect our environment, and a great swathe of modern life. They also create huge opportunities of the future. These regulations, these interventions into the market will enable us to meet the towering challenges of modern times, be it climate change or automation, the refugee problem, or the rise of transnational cooperation so powerful that they can defy governments and transcend borders. All these challenges can be best met by nations working together. All these challenges have been and are being addressed by the European Union. So why do the Brexiteers never give us a list of the regulations they wish to get rid of? And there is one simple, devastating answer: because they are frightened that the revelation of such an agenda would terrify people by the threat it represents to standards that most of us treasure. And they tell us that there is a role, an opportunity for a stronger, more vibrant United Kingdom. That is at the heart of the Brexit case. A new place in the world, opportunities to grasp and glory in reform, the easy speech for the cynical opportunist. Last Sunday revealed a very different, very chilling glimpse of reality. there is now a real prospect that Brexit would break the United Kingdom. In Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, that is the only credible interpretation of the polls in that European election. Nationalism should never be confused with patriotism. I am a European because I want this country to stride the corridors of world power, sit at the top table, be there where the action is. I am a European because I am a patriot. And I have never met a Frenchman, a German, Italian, or any of the other 24 citizens of Europe who were otherwise in their own national self-interest. And I will never vote to risk, prejudice, or undo this most civilized, constructive, peaceful initiation in the history of our continent. Of course, I have been much criticized for refusing to support Brexit. So I say this to my critics: what is it you want me to do? To betray everything that I believe and argued for all my adult life? To explain why every Conservative Prime Minister except the present one was wrong? And she was even right at the time of the referendum. Am I supposed to leave the interests of the younger generation go hand? Or is it that you just want me to stay silent? To wait for Conservative Central Office to send me a little blue book this time, not a little red one, a blue book, so I can thumb through the index under Europe and read out the party line? Well, I can think of a party that does believe just that, and its name begins with a C, but it is not the Conservative Party that I know and to which I have devoted my life. As a member of that party, I have just one choice. But 5 million Conservatives like me voted to remain. That is too loud a voice to ignore. And let me spell it out to my parliamentary colleagues. You seek the vote of a handful of elderly members in what is all that is left of a Conservative Party, if you want to. You doff your cap to Mr. Farage if you wish. You turn the Conservative Party into a branch office of Brexit if it suits you. But understand that there is a wider audience without which you will never achieve that priceless political privilege, power. The power to achieve things, the power to make a difference, the power to build a society that you can be proud to call your legacy. You may think your careers depend on a handful of members of the Conservative Party. That is a grave mistake. Your careers depend on the young generation between 18 and 25, where today you have the support of only 5%. Your careers depend on an electorate in which you have majority support only once you get above the age of 51. And you need to sit silent, alone, in the night, and not just ask, but answer the question of our time. How do you win these people back? I warn you, they will not come back by hoping to outflank Mr. Farage. Why vote? Why vote for the monkey when you can have the organ grinder? They will not come back by the use of that classic weaponry of parts of the Fleet Street print media, the character assassination of political opponents. Mr. Corbyn is in just as much trouble as the Conservatives and has just as little prospect of forming a majority government. Social media has changed the political landscape. For many people who support Brexit, the European election results this week were a verdict on the failure of the Conservative Party's government to deliver promises made in the last referendum. But if we've learned anything over the last year, it must be now that we cannot enjoy all the rights of being a member of the European Union with none of the responsibilities that necessarily go with it. The heady, if intellectually incoherent claim that we can have our cake and eat it has ended up choking the mother of Parliament itself. The consequence is that there has been no stable majority in Parliament or the country for any specific way of leaving the European Union, but the Prime Minister is leaving Downing Street. The government is paralysed and fearful. The domestic agenda is frozen by Brexit. The rest of the world looks on aghast. And the Conservatives, what are they doing? They're beginning a summer contest to pick a new leader. I fear both the process and the result will be one that I, together with many of the 5 million Conservatives who voted to stay in the European Union at the last referendum, do not like. Indeed, the prospect of a new Prime Minister being chosen by perhaps little more than 100,000 Conservative Party members in the current circumstances fills me with dread. We have started an arms race in which candidates vie against each other for who can be the most Faragist. This will be followed by the sight of a new Prime Minister heading to Brussels, armed with a mandate from the party to rip up the withdrawal agreement and remove the backstop, even though Theresa May herself had expressly promised, when we secured the extension of Article 50, that the British government would do no such thing. When this effort fails, our European allies have already told us it will fail. The new Prime Minister will find the maths in Parliament against agreeing any form of Brexit are quite unchanged. The new leader will then face a choice. Find new words for the same old song, decide to follow the invidious tradition of their predecessor, blame the EU for the failure of Britain's Brexit process, and then seek to run the clock down to a default no-deal departure from the European Union. Such a decision, which would deny either Parliament or the people a say on a no-deal outcome that neither of them want, would be nothing short of a democratic and constitutional outrage. Parliament will not... If successful, the consequences for business, for young people, for the integrity of the United Kingdom itself would rightly be hung around the neck of the Conservative Party for a generation to come. Some will say the new leader could choose to call a general election, or perhaps have one forced upon them after losing a vote of confidence. But with Brexit unresolved and Mr. Farage on the march, would any rational Conservative MP want to fight an election today? The consequence would in any case be either a Tory-led or Corbyn-led minority-hung Parliament. That would settle nothing. Or are they planning an alliance between the Conservative Party of Disraeli, Churchill, Macmillan, Thatcher, captured in this alliance, by the narrow nationalism and phobic politics of Nigel Farage. None of these options will solve this Brexit crisis. Neither will bring about the lasting settlement we need. Many months ago, I warned my party that millions of its traditional supporters feel as strongly as I do. I do not now need to repeat the warning. Two recent tests of public opinion in the local elections and the European elections have turned that warning into facts. So I say to my party, I say this: turn yourselves into branch offices of Brexit if you wish. But if you do so, you're on your own. Those upon whom you depend to win power in a general election will not come back. Good luck and goodbye. The European election results were not just, however, a verdict on the Conservative Party. They were a damning verdict on Labour's failure on this, the great issue of our time. Just as I voted Liberal Democrat for the first time in my life.
Well done.
I will not vote to make this country poorer and less powerful. Many millions of Labour voters voted for parties that gave full, unqualified backing for a people's vote. Those traditional supporters will not be going home to the Labour Party until this issue is resolved. I'm not used to giving advice to Jeremy Corbyn. But it is obvious to me, as much as it now apparently is obvious to his closest allies in the shadow cabinet, that he needs to reconnect as a matter of urgency with the overwhelming majority of his traditional voters. Indeed, contrary to some of the more excitable parts of the media, these European elections were not a mandate for Nigel Farage's plan to crash out of the EU with no trade or security deal at all. There was no mandate for this humiliating New Deal Brexit in the referendum of 2016. It was barely discussed, and people like Mr. Farage were talking about how easy it would be to get a deal. It would be a gross misreading of him now, who has just won by a small number of percentage points more than he did when he led UKIP in a low turnout, to conclude that there is now a majority for the crash-out Brexit he wants to inflict on the British people. The five firmly pro-European parties, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, the SNP, Change UK and Plaid Cymru, won many more votes than the UKIP and Brexit parties combined. So today, I want to appeal to every sensible Conservative member of Parliament, to potential leadership candidates, and even to the Labour leader, not to force Brexit on us now. I ask them to stand up, to speak out for our democratic right to have our say on Brexit. Whether you want to leave the EU or stay in, the only way to unlock the Brexit process in Parliament, the only way to secure a stable majority in Parliament, the only way to legitimise the outcome so we can build a lasting settlement in this country is to give the people a final say. If we get that final say, I know that we must fight to win, to stay in the European Union. And I also believe that we can and we will. The great irony is that today, in the midst of a crisis about Britain leaving the European Union, Britain's pro-Europeans have finally found their voice again. I marched with 1 million voices to Parliament Square just 2 months ago. We are now one of the most powerful voices in favour of Europe anywhere within the European Union. We now belong to a great army covering every region and nation of our great country. We can now genuinely be described as a European movement. We know that the inspiration for the European movement lies in the horrors of 3 European wars in 75 years. Our purpose remains crystal clear. We stand for a stable, peaceful Europe. We stand for a union of parliamentary democracies. We stand for a home market big enough to compete. When our time comes, we must stand at the bar of history to account to tomorrow's children for our stewardship of their legacy. That time has come. Here we stand. Here we fight. Join us.